Live from the campus of Penn State University, this is PSN News. It's Monday, November 4th. We have all you need to know about voting procedures for tomorrow's general election.
We also have more on the presidential candidates' rallies in Pennsylvania today, along with weather, sports, entertainment, and an interview. Stay tuned.
That's never happened before.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Emma Goldkopf.
And I'm Jordan Spagnolli. Citizens will have the opportunity to vote in national, state, and local races tomorrow. As well as the presidential candidates, Pennsylvania voters will select candidates for a U.S. Senate seat, Attorney General, Auditor General, and State Treasurer. Pennsylvania's House of Representative district candidates on each ballot will vary by precinct. Voters can visit centercountyvotes.gov to view sample ballots and find out which candidates will appear on theirs.
First-time voters or voters going to a new polling place for the first time must provide identification. Some of the acceptable photo ID options include a driver's license, a passport, or even a student ID card. Some of the non-photo ID options include a current bank statement, current utility bill, paycheck, or voter registration card. Returning voters do not need to provide proof of identification unless it's otherwise stated in the poll book. If someone is unable to provide identification, they'll be allowed to cast a provincial vote until their identity can be confirmed.
Center County has been asked to throw out 124 mail-in ballot applications. Governor Josh Shapiro's administration said these voter applications were part of a mass-produced effort meant to undermine confidence in the upcoming election. The voter applications are being challenged because they live overseas and do not intend on returning to Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania Department of State criticized these challenges and said they are based on theories that Pennsylvania courts have repeatedly rejected. There will be a public hearing Tuesday at 1 p.m. before Center County's Board of Elections.
Many Penn State professors are still holding classes on Election Day, despite the new Faculty Senate policy. The Penn State Faculty Senate made a new policy telling professors that they should make classes asynchronous on Election Day. Asynchronous instruction could include a recorded lecture or an assignment to be done at any time. This decision aims to make voting more accessible for students. If professors were to hold in-person classes, the policy stated that students who miss class should be allowed to make up any missed work. Now, field reporter Cora Rodriguez has more important details for Penn State students who are planning to vote. Let's take a look.
It's that time of year again. Text messages, ads, and even a truck reminding you to vote. But where can you vote? Before getting to the polling place, most college voters must bring their ID if it's their first time voting. Most students bring their student IDs, but you can use a voter registration card from the elections office, a PA driver's license, or a passport. The polling place for each Penn State student might be different based on where they live. For on-campus housing, students will vote in the hub. There will be 8,000 voters coming to the hub, but what should you expect?
The polling place is located inside Alumni Hall, so that's where all the secure booths will be, the voting machines where students insert their ballots. There'll be poll workers outside to get students checked in, to get them to sign the poll book, to show ID, things like that. And the line, if it comes to that, will stretch outside Alumni Hall, and if absolutely necessary, will stretch outside the hub.
Another location for students living downtown is the St. Andrew's Episcopal Church located on Fraser and Foster. But voting in person is not the only way to vote. If you received a mail-in ballot in the mail, the Center County Elections Office must receive your vote by 8 p.m. on Election Day for it to count. There are 3 ways to hand in a mail-in ballot. You can mail the mail-in ballot, drop it off at a drop box, or deliver in person to the elections office. There are 8 drop boxes in Center County, but there are 4 in the State College area. They are at the Ferguson Township Municipal Building, the Hub, the Patson Township Municipal Building, and the State College Borough Municipal Building. Election Day is slowly approaching, and here's Maddie again to explain why voting is so important.
In our current political system, young people often feel left out. We don't feel heard. Your voice is your vote. This is your opportunity to show up and say, this is what I care about.
For PSN News, I'm Cora Rodriguez.
Will students need to bundle up on their way to polling locations? Student meteorologist Daniel Weaver is live in the studio with this week's forecast. Daniel?
Thanks, Emma. You're not going to have to worry about bundling up. In fact, if anything, you will be bundling down because we are going to have a second or maybe, in fact, fourth summer. Look at this. Temperatures are forecasted to be 72 degrees tomorrow, which is almost 20 degrees above our average high. And we're flirting with our records by 3 degrees, which is 75. And sunrise and sunset times, it is getting a little darker there, a little faster too, thanks to daylight saving. But it is also getting a little brighter out there earlier in the morning. So if you have an 8 a.m., at least you're not walking out in the dark anymore. Outside the Arboretum, though, still dark, as because it's about 8 o'clock. Temperature right now is about 52 degrees and feels like 52. And thanks to that wind, though, no wind chill to speak of tonight, just a few clouds in the sky. But for your weather headlines this week, we are going to have some more heat, as I alluded to earlier. And along with that, well, we're going to see some rain tonight. But then after tonight, we're not going to see any periods of rain for the next few days. In fact, we do need that rain, but we aren't going to be seeing that anytime soon. And then afterwards, after this week, we'll see a quick return to fall before temperatures warm back up this summer, or this feeling like summer. I'll get back to that in just a second. Drought tracker, though, we desperately need that rain. Every county except the central area of Pennsylvania is under some form of drought. We do need that rain, and we need it now. But unfortunately, we won't really get enough tonight. Hopefully, we will get that soon. Temperatures across the region, 52 in State College, 51 in Clearfield, 54 in Du Bois. And you can see all those 50s across the region. In fact, the farther west you go, the warmer it is. And the farther east you go, a little cooler, with Philadelphia sitting at 57 degrees. A little breezy out there, too, especially as you head west with wind speeds around 10 to 15 miles an hour. That is ahead of a cold front that will bring us some pockets of rain tonight, though not enough to break that drought. Satellite and radar, got the few clouds cover showing up on the satellite, but no rain on the radar. You got to go farther west out here. That's because we have an area of low pressure here with the cold front drape across, and that's going to be moving into our region, which will bring us some rain. No, not enough to break that drought, like I said earlier. So for tonight, temperatures will continue to drop into the 40s before climbing back up tomorrow morning as a big warmer. So to sum it all up, we are forecasting a low of 43 degrees with partly cloudy skies for your night tonight. And then as we head throughout the day tomorrow, as you're headed out to your polling locations, 6 o'clock, we are already in the 40s, but we'll quickly warm up to about 68 degrees by around lunchtime. And as we head further throughout the day, you can see those 70s for most of Pennsylvania tomorrow. And then as we drop down into the 60s as we head overnight, and then we might see some rain approaching from the west tomorrow night as well. So for tomorrow, forecasting the low of a high of 72 degrees, clear and toasty, well, not too much wind, so no problems in the weather department for the election. As we go further out on the 7-day temperature trend, you can also see those temperatures slowly dropping down and then climbing back up as we head throughout the period. And then the 6 to 10 day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, that warm weather will continue across the eastern half of the United States. Western half of the United States still standing around average, so a big split between the low 48 in terms of temperatures. And on that 7-day forecast, though, we'll keep those warm temperatures for the next 2 days, and then we'll drop back down, but we're actually still above average, as our average high is 55 degrees. So we'll only get back to average on Sunday before we climb back up on Monday. But it's a few sprinkles of rain chances, especially next week. So hopefully next week we'll have enough rain to break that drought, but still a little too early to tell. Now back to you, Emma.
Thanks, Daniel. Now stick around because after the break, Jenna Wistman will have the latest news in sports. Stay tuned.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning into this edition of Penn State Sports Night.
For all of us here at the Belisari Media Center, we are
Penn State Sports Night.
Live from the campus of Penn State University, this is PSN News.
Penn State Network News is a student-produced, bi-weekly live news show featuring all student talent.
From local and national news to sports, entertainment, weather, and live interviews, we have it all.
We also feature student-made packages from across campus.
Airing every Monday and Wednesday at 7 p.m.
We are PSN News.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook at PSN News, on Instagram at Penn State Network News, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PSN News.
Have a good night and stay safe, Penn State. Hey everyone, we are Red Carpet News, your main source of entertainment news at Penn State University.
Man, this festival is going to be popping.
I'm Alex Porzillo, here with Aiden Harold.
He's going to 23rd with Daddy Elon Warbucks to actual space away from Kim.
So in sync, especially during Kendrick's part when they came out, reporting on anything from music, movies, TV shows, fashion, to celebrity gossip. You don't want to miss out on any of the hot topics we discuss. Find our segments on YouTube under the name Red Carpet News for your daily dose of entertainment. We are Red Carpet News.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Jenna Wisman with your sports update. Number 6 ranked Penn State football is no longer undefeated. The Nittany Lions suffered a heartbreaking loss in front of Beaver Stadium's record-breaking crowd on Saturday to Ohio State by a close score of 20-13. Penn State struck early with a field goal and a 31-yard interception returned for a touchdown by Zion Tracy. This would be the only touchdown Penn State would score all game. The defense racked up 3 sacks and 1 interception, but it wouldn't be enough. Close calls by refs and poor play calling left fans frustrated as head coach James Franklin moves to 3-17 against top 10 teams in his career. Penn State will welcome Washington to Happy Valley next week for the official whiteout game, where they will look to shake off the loss. On a more positive note, number 3 ranked Penn State women's volleyball continues to dominate the Big Ten after a 3-1 win over Iowa on Friday night in Rec Hall. The Nittany Lions moved to 22-1 overall and 12-0 in conference play, this marking their 14th straight win. Cameron Hanna and Jess Merzick tallied 15 kills apiece. Maggie Mendelson also had a great game, tallying 10 kills. Jillian Grimes led the team with 16 digs and even matched her career high with 4 aces. This team has so many weapons and has been unstoppable all season. The Nittany Lions will hit the road this week, where they'll play Northwestern Friday and number 7 ranked Wisconsin Saturday. The Philadelphia Eagles escaped what would have been their 3rd loss of the season on Sunday against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Eagles blew a 22-point second-half lead at home, but were able to come out with a win by a score of 28-23, thanks to Nakobe Dean, who intercepted Trevor Lawrence's touchdown pass late in the 4th quarter. Jalen Hurts went 18 for 24, and Saquon Barkley had a stellar game with 27 carries for 159 yards, a touchdown, and a backwards hurdle. Finally, we can't forget about Devontae Smith, who tallied 4 catches for 87 yards and a touchdown. The Eagles now move to 6-2 on the season and will travel to Dallas this week to take on the Cowboys. That's all for your sports update. Now, don't go anywhere. Sela Guler is going to talk about PSU votes. After that, Jaden Vogel has the latest in the world of entertainment. Stay tuned.
I'm Sela Guler with Penn State Network News, and I'm here today in the hub visiting the PSU Votes table. Designed for students, staff, and faculty, PSU Votes is an accessible and reliable resource that provides non-partisan information about the voting process to help voters feel more prepared as the election comes up.
PSU Votes have made their appearance in the hub over the past few weeks to help with the process of registering to vote, double-checking that you're registered, figuring out where and how you will vote, and answering questions about voting.
A lot of young people don't vote in general, so it's just good that more people vote, since your vote matters.
They have had a variety of prizes for coming up to their table and registering to vote, such as bags, cups, pens, and stickers, drawing more students to come and check out their table.
I think what they're doing is very important. If they don't have a lot of impact on getting the actual more people registered, they have a very good impact on the energy of the election, of the population, and the energy, yes.
Whether you're looking to check your registration status, finding more about the voting process, registering to vote, or have any general questions about voting, keep an eye out for the PSU Votes table or find more information on their Instagram at PSU Votes. I'm Sela Guler for Penn State Network News.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Jaden Vogel with your entertainment update. F-18s roared over Bellefonte on Thursday night, startling residents as they heard loud noises from the sky. Many people rushed outside or to social media to figure out what was happening. The loud noise came from 3 fighter jets headed to State College Regional Airport for a planned flyover at the Penn State-Ohio State game.
The jets made a thunderous approach, lasting about 10 minutes, and residents even reported their houses and cars shaking. Videos are surfacing on X and TikTok of former Philadelphia Eagles player Jason Kelce smashing an alleged Penn State fan's phone. Kelce attended the 2024 Penn State versus Ohio State game as a fan and appeared on ESPN College Game Day. After the game, he was approached by a fan recording him and calling his brother Travis Kelce a homophobic slur. In the video, Kelce slams the fan's phone on the ground and walks away carrying the smashed phone. Jason recently released a statement saying he wasn't happy about anything that happened. Going forward, he wants to follow the golden rule and treat others with respect. The Queen of Halloween didn't disappoint with the most anticipated costume of the season. Heidi Klum hosted her famous and annual Halloween party last weekend in New York City. Every year, she amazes guests with an elaborate costume that transforms her into the character she is portraying. Klum and her husband showed up both dressed as E.T., featuring a motorized head with blinking eyes, a moving mouth, and glowing fingertips. Let's see if she can top that next year. That's all for your entertainment update. Coming up next, interview anchor Christian Audia will be speaking with Brandon Cook, the executive director of the Desk Live election night coverage. Stay tuned.
Hey everybody, thank you for tuning into this edition of Penn State Sports Night.
For all of us here at the Belisari Media Center, we are
Penn State Sports Night.
Ready, mics? 3, 2, fade in on 2, mic and cue.
This is Nittany Talk.
I would say spring.
Slow down.
And he knew that. How do you think?
I know.
She continues to hold her values and everything though. And I think that that's really important. So yeah, and self-care Saturday.
And you lose a lot of sleep.
Yes, agreed. Yeah.
Live from the campus of Penn State University, this is PSN News.
Penn State Network News is a student-produced, bi-weekly live news show featuring all student talent.
From local and national news to sports, entertainment, weather, and live interviews, we have it all.
We also feature student-made packages from across campus.
Airing every Monday and Wednesday at 7 p.m.
We are PSN News.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook at PSN News, on Instagram at Penn State Network News, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PSN News.
Have a good night and stay safe, Penn State.
Hey everyone, welcome to Culture Central. My name is Jaden Stewart,
What's good, everybody? My name is Eric Pichardo, and we are your hosts
creators
and executive producers of Culture Central. Is this Whitney Houston?
We're doing things that have never been done before, so welcome to the family.
Hey everyone, we are Red Carpet News, your main source of entertainment news at Penn State University.
Man, this festival is going to be popping.
I'm Alex Porzillo, here with Aiden Harold.
He's going to 23rd with Daddy Elon Warbucks to actual space away from Kim.
So in sync, especially during Kendrick's part when they came out, reporting on anything from music, movies, TV shows, fashion, to celebrity gossip. You don't want to miss out on any of the hot topics we discuss.
Find our segments on YouTube under the name Red Carpet News for your daily dose of entertainment.
We are Red Carpet News.
If
if you don't include human beings, you cannot accurately model the way the climate has changed over the last 50 years.
And I don't know that we're ever going to be free of some sort of bug.
A natural state of motion for something to be in is to remain in its current state of motion.
I've been lucky enough to discover various things out there. Pulsars, exoplanets, and some other phenomena that ended up being interesting.
Hi, I'm Johnson Gary with Asking Penn State.
With Asking Penn State,
Asking Penn State.
Asking Penn State. Asking Penn State.
Welcome back to Asking Penn State.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Christian Audia, and joining me tonight is Brendan Cuck, the executive producer of At the Desk's election night coverage. Thank you so much for coming in tonight, Brendan. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's get the ball rolling. So what is PSN TV's At the Desk?
At the Desk is the newest show on PSN TV. We are all things crime, history, and politics. We are 3 different panels. We have a lot of really talented panelists, and we talk about all things crime, history, and politics. I mean, I produce the history panel specifically, so we do fun little, I guess, games and different ways to make history interesting. We have a politics panel that talks all things politics, hence election coverage tomorrow night. And then we have a crime panel that goes over different crimes from the past. True crime fans would absolutely love that. It's like podcast style. They sit around the table. It's really fun.
Is the history panel your favorite panel? Or?
Of course it is.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. What's your favorite thing you get to do for the history panel?
I love working with our writers. We have a group of writers that write for the history panel, and they are absolutely fantastic. It's really cool because I can just tell them, like, I want to see this, and they make it happen every time. They're fantastic.
Great. Love to hear that.
Yeah.
So as you know, tomorrow is At the Desk's live election coverage special.
yeah.
So what inspired you to create the special?
I mean, there's a lot of different things. I think that being on the show and seeing the people I work around, wanting to do something special with them is a really important thing for me. But I mean, it's the election. You only get one opportunity to do this when you're a college student. We're here for 4 years. Every 4 years is the election, right? I'm a senior. No better time than now to make it happen. And I'm glad that I have such a great team around me that has allowed me to make it happen. And we are so looking forward to tomorrow night.
And speaking of tomorrow night, what can viewers expect to see in the episode?
A lot of different things. We're actually pooling a lot of different packages from different places around PSN TV. So there's going to be some PSN news featured on there. And there's going to be some Center County report featured on there. And there's going to be stuff from At the Desk that we created, different interviews. We have an interview with Speaker McClinton of the House. We have different interviews from the mayor of State College, Ezra Naines. And we have a lot of different really cool stuff going on. And it's going to be a really fun time, yeah.
And what's your favorite thing you're looking forward to tomorrow? Like if you had to pick one thing out of everything.
I think seeing a vision completed that I've worked really hard for and the team around me has worked really hard for, being able to see that come to fruition is going to be amazing and very, very important to me. And I love the crew that I have around me. So doing it together as a team and watching everyone else succeed, that's going to make me incredibly happy when it's all said and done.
That's so great. And as executive producer, what would your responsibilities look like tomorrow?
Tomorrow, well, I'm also going to be assistant directing. So I'm going to be directing a lot of it with our director, Leah, who's fantastic. My responsibilities are going to be make sure that the schedule goes well, things are happening on time, packages are airing. We're going to have a research team upstairs in the studio here that's going to be updating us live on what's happening in the election. So polling numbers, different headlines throughout the night. It's going to be a lot about me being the middleman between them and in here. So that way we can have a flawless night and we can make sure everything is up to date and current. Because ultimately, when you're watching election coverage, it needs to be up to date and current, or else it's not exactly worth it. So my responsibility is to make sure that it's up to date, current, and flows well.
Nice. And how do you balance being a student and your responsibilities as the executive producer for the special?
That's a really good question because it's not easy. I have a lot of really good professors, honestly, that are keyed in on what I'm doing. And they've been very lenient with me in my ability to like make class as much as I can and do as much as I can to put in work in my classes. But they've helped me so much by just giving me tips and tidbits, pieces of advice on what I could be doing, what we should be doing. And it's been actually a very, very collaborative experience with them, which has been really cool to see. Not often do you get to do something and have your professors help you with it, right? So I have all these different professors that are journalism experts that have really been like, okay, this is what you should do, this is how it should look, et cetera. And it's been fantastic. The experience has been stressful at times, of course. However, they've done a great job at making me feel prepared for my classes and allowing me to relax as much as I can. So that way I can do my duties and also be a great student.
Nice. And is there one particular professor you maybe want to shout out tonight that's helped you out the most?
Absolutely. I'll shout out Katie O'Toole. She's my audio news production professor, and she is lovely. We have an awesome class, and we do a lot of really cool stuff. And she has always been there as like a support beam for me when it comes to like my expeditions in news per se. And she's really good at what she does. So she's always helping me out, asking me about how it's going. She emails me different stories. She's fantastic. And she knows like how much I have going on, and she makes sure that she's there for me. So big shout out to Katie, man.
Hopefully I get to take her in the future.
Yeah, Com 360, take it.
And what are some potential challenges you expect for tomorrow?
Well, I mean, the number one challenge is going to be staying up to date, like I said. I mean, it's a very sporadic night, right? So there's going to be a lot of difficulties we face in terms of spontaneity. However, our plan for tomorrow is about being prepared to be unprepared. So when we're being unprepared, we knew this was going to happen, right? We knew that we were going to have a moment when some state did something, some Senate race did something, a congressional race did something we weren't expecting. When that happens, that's when we're like, all right, we're good. We're settled. So we expect some challenges. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be a good time.
Great. I look forward to tuning in tomorrow as part of it. Well, thank you so much, Brendan, for your time and really explaining, what At the Desk's live election coverage is all about. So thank you for coming in tonight.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Now stick around, because coming up next, Jordan and Emma will have the latest news from across the nation. Stay tuned.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning into this edition of Penn State Sports Night.
For all of us here at the Belisari Media Center, we are
Penn State Sports Night.
Live from the campus of Penn State University, this is PSN News.
Penn State Network News is a student-produced, bi-weekly live news show featuring all student talent.
From local and national news to sports, entertainment, weather, and live interviews, we have it all.
We also feature student-made packages from across campus.
Airing every Monday and Wednesday at 7 p.m.
We are PSN News.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook at PSN News, on Instagram at Penn State Network News, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PSN News.
Have a good night and stay safe, Penn State.
Hey everyone, we are Red Carpet News, your main source of entertainment news at Penn State University.
Man, this festival is going to be popping.
I'm Alex Porzillo, here with Aiden Harold.
He's going to 23rd with Daddy Elon Warbucks to actual space away from Kim.
So insane, especially during Kendrick's part when they came out, reporting on anything from music, movies, TV shows, fashion, to celebrity gossip. You don't want to miss out on any of the hot topics we discuss.
Find our segments on YouTube under the name Red Carpet News for your daily dose of entertainment.
We are Red Carpet News.
Some voting rights advocates are still celebrating the Supreme Court's decision to count provisional ballots. On Friday, the Supreme Court rejected an emergency appeal from Republicans that could have led to thousands of provisional ballots not being counted. The 4-3 decision upheld that election offices must count provisional ballots casted by voters whose mail-in ballots were rejected.
Pennsylvania will play a key role in the outcome of the election, with all candidates vying for the battleground state's 19 electoral votes. Republican candidate Donald Trump and Democratic candidate Kamala Harris are both spending their last day before Election Day in Pennsylvania. Along with stops in North Carolina and Michigan, Trump will hold rallies in Reading and Pittsburgh, while Harris will hold rallies in Scranton, Allentown, Reading, Rankin, and Philadelphia.
According to the latest PBS News and NPR poll, Vice President Kamala Harris holds a 4-point lead over former President Donald Trump. Harris has the support of 51% of likely voters to Trump's 47%. This lead is just outside the poll's 3.5-point margin of error. The most notable, the gender gap has shrunk in the last month of the campaign. Trump's lead over men has shrunk from 16 points to 4, while Harris's lead among women has shrunk from 18 points to 11.
North Carolina set a new record for early voting with more than 4 million votes cast. The state's previous early voting record was set in 2020 with over 3.6 million people voting in advance. The State Board of Elections announced that the state exceeded that record by Thursday, just 3 days before early voting period ended. Early in-person voting has become increasingly popular because people can simultaneously register to vote and cast ballots at early voting sites. On a national scale, more than 78 million ballots have already been cast in 47 states and Washington, D.C. That concludes our show tonight at PSN News.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook at PSN News, on Instagram at Penn State Network News, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PSN News.
Have a good night and go vote, Penn State.